Hi, Joe. Why, it might even be Grease Lightning.
We'll get some overhead lifters and 4 bell quads, oh yeah.
All right, what an interesting intro today. First thing I want to say is God is source, and we can think of the source like water, just for this reference. Now, I want you to understand that you yourself here are a vessel, right? And so we think of a vessel might be a cup, right? Might be something that would store the water that is God. And now the reason some people don't see God in everyone or even in themselves is because of the dirtiness on the outside of the cup can lead to the perception that the inside of the cup does not hold clean water. But the truth is that that water on the inside cannot be uncleaned. If we follow the rules of judgment most harshly, even in Abrahamic religions, such as Jesus says, if your hand causes you to sin against you, then cut off your hand. And if your eye causes you to sin against you, then cut off your eye or take out your eye. In which case, I've said before, if every part of your vessel has caused you to sin at one point or another, for all fall short of the glory of God, then what would be left of you besides the pure source, your soul, and in that your soul that makes up the drop of water that makes up the entirety of God as a whole? See, God has extended itself into each and every one of us so that we might get to know each other through our unique aspects of being to better understand God as a whole. Not only understand, but to be, create, and craft, as I went over in my evolution video. Please go check it out. If there is a supreme being at the end of time, what we know about time is being a fourth dimensional object, that it exists at all times. And so if there's one at the end, there's one at the beginning, and there's one now. And that what we're doing here when we leave this life is we go to where time does not exist outside of the material world, in which case we incarnate, jump back into the flow of time to then create and craft our kingdom of heaven that will be at the end of time. Hence why we're talking about the end times and generational change. Male and Male Megwa. I am new the night of day, and this is New News with New Atu. Hope everyone's doing well today. Thank you for returning if you are, and if you're new, I am too. Very nice to meet you. So, let me tell you something. Every 500 years, a prophet shows up. Okay, and this prophet converts a lot of people into a new major religion. The last ones being Buddhism, Christianity, the Islamic faith, Sikhism, something, and then now we're at the 2,000 years precipice. Now, every 2,000 years, a pantheon arrives. Long before, it was the Ogdode. These are the people in Egypt. Then it was conquered. Then it became Olympus. Olympus had the 12. Now the Ogdode had 8, but there are many, many gods that were associated. Gods, judges, angels, whatever you want to call them, that were associated with the Ogdode at the time. Olympus then had 12 main Olympians, I think. Let me chill. Let me list some of them for you. Zeus, Athena, Hera, Demeter. Oh no, there might be more. Hephaestus, Ares, Apollo, Artemis, Hermes, Poseidon, Hades. There's one more. Aphrodite. There we go. Boom, all 12. And there's probably more, but I'm saying those are the main 12 right there. And then luck would have it that Yeshua came through and established, boom, 12 disciples, but he was the 13th or the 0th, whatever you want to look at it as. And so we see that there's a recurring pattern of, yes, every 500 years, a soul prophet shows up. Boom, Buddha, Jesus, then Muhammad, then so on and so forth. And actually, all of those were within a 560-year gap. Buddha, Christ, and Muhammad. Interesting, right? So following the rules of incarnation that Buddhism talks about, seems like it could be the soul reincarnating, coming back here, just as Vishnu said, and just as Krishna said, who was Vishnu incarnate. Every time that the power scales and balances shift, there I will be. Interesting proclamation right there. Now, Vishnu is the protector, preserver, and technically supreme being. As Brahma was born out of Vishnu, Shiva and Vishnu hold each other's souls, and they are the Trimurti, or I don't know, I'm probably butchering that name, but they are essentially the Vishnu, not Vishnu, but Hindu Trinity. And depending on what sect of Hinduism you follow, Shiva could be the supreme in that case. But there's a lot of crossovers between that Trinity and the Christian Trinity that was established later on. Even though they say Abraham and Brahman are like kind of same, like Abraham and Brahman, I don't know. But I think there's a lot of technical tie-overs there. And what we know about Vishnu is the 10 incarnations of Vishnu or avatars. And this is kind of disputed as to whether Buddha is the ninth incarnation or not. I believe that Buddha was the ninth incarnation. And I believe that the 10 incarnations here listed go Matsya, Varaha, Narasimha, Vamana, Parushima, Brahma. Yes, sir. Krishna, yes sir. Buddha and Kalki, which is the 10th and final. Now we talk about Kalki quite a bit because we are in the Kalki Yuga right now, which is a time period. That's why people say the end of times. The Hindu text also relates to a end of times, which we are in a time period in which Kalki will show up on a white horse with a fiery sword, and he will bring forth Satya Yuga, I think it is. It's the era of peace and co-creation. Somebody go fact check me, guys. Go fact check it. It's all listen, I might not be getting the names 110% right, but I'm spitting that fire truth right now, okay? If you'll notice, another one of our Messiah figures is also said to appear on a white horse. It's said many times in the Bible, and then I saw him and they call him faithful. He was on a white horse with a fiery sword, just like Yahweh or little Isa in Islam. So in Islam, they believe that there's Isa is what they call the prophet who came as Jesus Christ, and then little Isa will come again and slay the Antichrist. Same thing, but they say little Isa is down here and big Isa stays in the sky. Kind of like the idea of like our Shiva and Vishnu, or even Vishnu incarnate, that Vishnu is still supreme and still in technically wherever you want to like put the heavenly realms, which is we know is inside of us, but also in our external world as well. The white horseman of conquest is also said to either be the Antichrist or the Christ pulling up on the white horse, and he has a bow. He's an archer, like Rama, which is one of Vishnu's older incarnates as well. So interesting there. And Apollo was also the archer. He's the god of the sun in the, I guess, Olympic faith. What would you call that in the Greek theology? And so our generations is where I'm going to get into. Our generations here are marked Z and A. I'm Gen Z. Below me is Gen A, or younger than me is Gen A. Alpha and Omega. First and last. And did they not say the last shall become first? The last shall become first. Z came before A, right? In our generations. Okay, we're here. Whoa, 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 whoa. What's this? What's this? Now, in your soul path as a vessel, you may have a destiny, but these are titles, roles, mantles. You understand? Even if you were born for it, you have to live it. The challenge of incarnation is that we all start from zero in a spiritual sense. Now, some of us incarnate in poverty, some of us incarnate with the silver spoon, some of us incarnate and then are gone, just like that. And sometimes that's our path. But in a spiritual sense, when you come from the all knowing wisdom and being in the hands, and then you incarnate further into the physical being of God while being with the ethereal first, and then boom, all your atoms collect. You're here now, made manifest to further the growth of the kingdom of heaven. You are at level zero. You don't pull up. Now, here's the thing: when you get your ego formed, that's technically zero-ish.
How did I do? There is now a level 0.
Because I feel like you kind of pull up knowing, and a lot of the times children are just like literally conditioned. We say conditioning, it's a lot of people want to think about what conditioning is. When you condition after practice, you run back and forth, run lines, it sucks, right? Conditioning for fighting is them literally beating you. Okay, so you're beaten into submission, into this form that is to reject the total holy essence and presence of what you are. That is essentially how the ego is formed, through pain, trauma, and hurt, and then you start to reflect that and project that onto others as time goes on. And so that's why it's a big, big issue, the way that we dismiss our children so much. But either way, you're not like this. You don't pull up, I don't think, or we haven't seen the opportunity yet, because we don't trust our children in that way, to have like grand, what they would consider enlightenment, even though you're connected to source a lot more when you're a child. So even if you're the shit, for better words, in another life, you have to prove it on Earth realm. Okay, they call this Earth School. It turned out to be more of like kinda, I think it was a school at some point. I think it was paradise at first, and then it kind of turned into a school, and now it's kind of almost a little bit of a battleground. Okay, and I think that spiritual warfare does happen quite a bit here, but then it can still be turned into a school even in the battle if you are living the way, which the way that can be weighed is not the way. So you have to make your own path, and the path forms beneath you as you walk. Remember these things. It is time to fulfill our prophecy and make new ones. For the love of God, make new ones. Honor the old, but understand we are living it right now. They stopped writing the books, but we are living the books right now, and we need to bring that energy into the world so that it may flourish. The righteous do not fear judgment. You understand? Do not judge lest you be judged. I find it best to probably not judge many others. That being said, you yourself should not fear judgment, because you're going to be judged and found that your heart is as light as a feather. And if that's not so, then that you cannot fear that. Okay? You cannot fear it, because what you fear, you also attract. What you are, you attract, and what you fear, you attract, because you are kind of biologically conditioned into thinking about what you fear more than what you want, or what you are, what you're aligned with. And in which case, we cannot allow ourselves to align with the fear. We must face it head on, and we must judge ourselves, because I think that's the major test of judgment, is God holding up a mirror to you and saying, can you live with this? Can I within you live with this? Can you within you live with this? Can you within me live with this? And that's something that you should take away. Light, at the end of the day, doesn't negotiate peace with the shadows. Okay? And so when a light turns on, it's not like, hey, you guys, I might, shine a little bit. You guys might disperse. No, the light comes on, the shadows are gone. And it's not like this, like, the shadows are like, ripped apart gorily, and you know what I'm saying? It's just that it happens that way, okay? They say when Michael shows up, yeah, we had to do it to him.
Give them what they asked for. That's what I'm talking about! That's why he's the MVP! That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT! It's not enough. Few solid niggas left, but it's not enough. Few bitches that are really stepped, but it's not enough.
There's no deliberating. There's no negotiating. He's there. It goes down. All right. And so if you're a spiritual warrior and understanding your path, this is what I'm saying too. is step into whatever you're called to be. I think that there are 4 horsemen. I think that those are mantles here. I think that there are prophets. I think those are mantles here. I think that there are people who are able to save others. Okay, and that has all been shown throughout the entirety of human history, and more of us just need to step up and step into that power, but be it. Don't just say it. Don't just think it. Be it. Exist as it. Don't give yourself the title and then that's just it. Go out there and do what you feel you would like to see out of someone who has that title. Okay, that is a step in manifestation as well. And prayer, putting action behind it. And yes, miraculous things can happen through prayer and through manifestation, which I think are one and the same, because you're literally, it's your thoughts. You know what I'm saying? You're giving your thoughts to the creator of the universe, and then you're making requests and you're aligning with those goals. They're the same. Okay. And so you have to understand that it is not by your power that the universe will bend completely to your will, but if you can align with the will, then there will be no difference. You will no longer be concerned with your own will. It will not be by your power, but by the Spirit. Right? And so we need to fill these roles for ourselves and for others. And we need to view ourselves as others and others as ourselves. And we need to stand up for what is right. And we need to do what we came here to do, which is further the building of the kingdom of heaven. The third temple is being constructed. I have another video coming out about that. It's going to be probably tomorrow or the next day. I might be wearing the same thing. I might record it right now. Either way, the third temple that marks the return of the Messiah is being built. All of these religions that point to it, countless more probably, that point to it. Stuff's happening. It's time. Okay? So get on your horse.
2 steps ahead.
You got this. Thank you so much for watching. If no one has told you today, or if everyone has, I just want you to know that I'm proud of you. I love you. And I trust you. Keep being your best self. And as always, God bless, Wa love, Yah guide, and new save. Be whatever you'd like to be. And I will see you on the next one.